does like to get crazy is Haas.
And the hope of France on the top left side, representing Team Liquid, it is Clem.
I am super excited to see Clem play. Roddy's been hyping him up from the moment we got here. He's been telling me how good Clem's been playing, and I've watched Clem and I thought he was playing good, but Roddy's like talking about him like he's going to be the next world champion, man. He's like non-stop talking about Clem.
Well, you know, that's good. We're not going to get blamed for overhyping. Roddy will take that flack for this one,
exactly.
Wardy. I'm a big Clem fanboy as well, personally, because he does just look so unstoppable when he gets into his rhythm. His multitasking is on another level. That's not the biggest factor in defeating Haas, though. It's all about navigating a dark labyrinth of weird strategy situations you normally don't find yourself in. But so far, pretty normal for Haas. Comes out with a gate scout. It's going to do a bit of light harassment potentially on the workers. Clem set up for a one-rack expand. Doesn't want to get stuck in a one-base versus one-base scenario.
No, that's, again, especially where Haas is just going to be extremely good. You know that's where Haas wants to be, so just get yourself set up in a position where you can take the advantage. The longer this game goes in general, generally the better Clem should be feeling. He will SCV scout, he's going to take all the precautions, but Haas is just going to Nexus straight after the core. Nothing weird about what he's doing yet. There's still plenty of time for it to take a bit of a crazier turn.
Cheesiest thing a cheesy can do is play a macro game, Wardy. It's a classic saying, and it's there for good reason. If you can at least give off the impression of a more standard situation, put Clem back into his standard mode of play, and then shift into something a bit wild. So for me, what comes to the top of my mind is Glaive Adept timing. Sounds ridiculous, but Haas is a big fan of just going, hey, go for a Twilight, you think I'm making Blink, it's actually Glaives, 7-gate, and just try to shade those Adepts in on top. Something where if that comes in, we're going to want to see Clem walling off, really staying behind that wall off until he's got a critical mass at bio.
Absolutely. There's our Twilight Council coming down, as we will see the Reaper deflected for the moment, not going to be given information. Clem currently not cutting any corners because he's just getting that bunker down. Factory on the way, not doing anything out of the ordinary. He really is playing this standard, but standard and safe is most important to note.
Reaper trying to circle into that main base. Reaper does find a probe. Nice pick up there, getting a little bit of damage. I do think Haas is going to be on struggle street in this matchup. And the reason is Dark Templar, one of his best strategies. He does it sometimes with no prism, sometimes a prism drop. He was so good with that, but the Raven is just such a big part of TVP right now. It got buffed in the last patch. It's easier to build, it's cheaper, costs less. And as a result, going Dark Templar, it really feels has been the big loss out of the TVP build book for Protoss players. It used to be something you could get a free win every now and then. You could kind of make the Terran player paranoid. Now it feels like it's blocked by most standard Terran openings.
That's very true. That Raven is just easier to get, so it just makes sense to slot it into your builds more, because it's so good in TVP against pretty much anything a Protoss does. The Raven will find some way to be amazing. As we see the Robo coming up, extra gates are coming down. This Reaper really wants to get into Scout, is going to spot the Twilight Council, so good information for Clem in terms of what he's playing against. He sees all the gateways and the Robo at the front too. On top of getting a probe at the very least, if not two, so that's going to be great. The fourth gateway tried to go down there, was not allowed. So we are going to see Haas getting a bit aggressive. Clem lately has been so much more careful against these kind of builds, though. He's been going straight into the siege tank after a single Widow Mine just like this, and just saying, cool, I don't need to do a lot of pressure, I just need to be safe. Let's get into this mid game, because if you're going to 4-gate blink me and I take no damage, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a wall in between the bunker and the top side of his natural, just so if Stalkers do blink in on the tank, they can't pull out from there very easily. I think that's something Gumiho's been really just like, probably best Terran in the world at shutting down 4-gate blink recently. I feel like his wall-offs are so fantastic. But tank production is there, the marine production has been non-stop. Widow Mine will pin back some of these units, and Clem hasn't overcommitted. It's only a single Widow Mine. So he's going to get on in there, try and get some damage going. Hellion does go forward in the north as well, so we'll see if there's a third base attempt behind this. Haas! Oh my lord! No!
Oh, he split it, but then he sent it back to actually mine, so then it went back to the other probes.
Oh, misclick for Haas. I mean, sure, he was meant to click on the ground, but accidentally clicks on the minerals. Now he is completely all in. Only 28 workers. He's basically got to kill Clem right here, right now.
Clem has a second bunker coming up, but it will not be done yet. Haas picking his first moment of attack to be into the main base. There is a siege tank back there. Maybe you can get rid of Stim or so, or maybe the tech lab on the factory so you get rid of future tanks. It's a massive main base on Grezvan. As we do see the Widow Mine, 4 more probes across the map. Haas
Where did that
more
come
all
from?
in than ever before.
Stalker just walked in the natural. Does get blasted on the ramp. He's trying to warp in a Zealot to take the tank shot so the Stalkers can blink forward. 2 siege tanks are out there right now. One of them goes down. Nice micro so far by Haas. There's a lot of Marines there. They're gunning down these Stalkers. SCVs are pulled off the line. 3rd siege tank is sieging. And Clem completely shuts that down.
Not even close, man. I mean, you get 3 SCVs only. That does not make up for anything that's happening here. There it is. The work already undone. And Haas, he blinks on the bunker, but that's why there's a second. It gives you time to get to this low ground as Clem. Now SCVs can repair, and now these Stalkers are getting shot down. One of them died, another went low, and it's just not working for Haas to the point where he's going to type out GG, and Clem is going to just show absolute dominance in the opening game.
Terran on lockdown, and the Protoss does not find the damage. Business as usual there for Clem. Nothing crazy. That was a 4-gate blink. That's a really straight-up strategy. Clem has been playing hundreds of games against Max Packs recently, both in tournaments and the EU ladder. Haas unable to take him out of his comfort zone. There was no disruption in there. There was no Zealot pressure, no early adept, nothing to really force a reaction out of Clem. And what have we seen from Clem in every matchup? If you let him play his game, he is unstoppable. You've got to throw him off. You've got to be kind of messing with his rhythm. If you're not doing that, things go poorly.
This is so sad. Just should have been 1 probe, it was 6. The second Widow Mine shot got 4. And you were just committed as Haas, and Clem was set up almost perfectly on defense. Like, you get 1 tank, but you're meant to lose something as the Terran player, and then you only lose 3 SCVs during this. Everything else is set back up again, and it was just solid defense from Clem. And most importantly was his build gave him an easy defense, right? Just a single mine straight to the tanks. It was the exact right thing to do versus the 4-gate blink. And I think it's the exact right thing to do just against Haas, because, okay, you don't need to do a lot across the map. Just let him do what he wants to do, defend, and then you're good for the rest of the game.
And that's it. I mean, Haas is at his most scary when he was doing things like the super fast 3rd off of just 2-gate Dark Templar, and then, gets to the 4th, and suddenly there's 60 Zealots running around the map with 2-2, and he's on 20 gateways and 100 probes. That is a situation, though, that's very hard to get to in the current meta, and definitely one where Clem's come in well prepared so far. I expect something wildly different from Haas in Game 2.
Yeah, I wonder if he turns it up a notch, right? Because 4-gate blink is kind of standard. It's aggressive, but it's standard. We see this a lot. We've seen this a long time. I wonder if Game 2 is just go all-out crazy mode, because that definitely didn't work. There wasn't even a semblance of hope in Game 1 for Haas, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe time to really level it up, heading into a second game in just a few moments' time as we continue through the second group of the winners stage here. As in the top left-hand side, our red Protoss player from Storm Gaming, down a map and looking to fight back is Haas.
Showing zero fear or respect in Game 1. He looked incredibly solid. He'd love to close this out in under 15 minutes. Representing Team Liquid, it's Clem. I think Haas went into this series expecting a little bit more fear on Clem's side. I think that's why he chose to play so standard in map 1. He said, I think you're going to expect craziness. You're going to scout for proxies. You're going to be really paranoid. Your opening's going to be a bit messed up. It wasn't. Clem played completely standard. He has confidence in his standard plays with a bit of extra scouting to handle whatever Haas throws his way. And this is why now the pressure's back on Haas to make something happen.
No, absolutely. It is. If this just turns into like a normal opening again, I don't even know where we go from Haas, because Clem just showed to be so good in that first game. He will go probe across the map here in game number 2, so we'll see what this gets up to. It is dragon skills. You get across the map quickly on this map. That could mean something for Haas here.
Already 1 gateway up at home for Haas. Looks like he is going for an expand build once more. Clem moving out with an SCV just before going for the command center. Cybercore does go down before Nexus for Haas. It's going to be the 21 Nexus. And it looks like once again a 1-Rex expand on the way for Clem. And the probe not even blocking just yet. Does decide to come down and fight that SCV a little bit.
Doesn't really get it, does he? A little bit annoying. Another SCV does have to come down just to push this probe back. It's why Protoss kind of like doing this, because you can just force a little bit loss mining time. Reaper is on the way. When that pops, it can get across and try and do some scouting. This SCV is already scouting just bought in the Nexus time and is already golden. He's just going to double check the main base of pylons and so on, just to see exactly where his opponent is at. Make sure he's not missing anything, or there's no potential proxy setting up behind the Cybercore.
Stock standard so far from Haas. No curveballs coming out, but Clem's scout is retreating to his side of the map, and that, of course, opens up opportunities for Haas to get a bit fancy. Factory on the way behind this. He goes for the bunker, does Clem. The 4-second gas. Very safe opening. Of course, that's there to stop an Adept from coming in and sniping that SCV on the command center. Not a concern, as Haas is purely defensive. Stalker, Twilight Council, just chilling on a single gateway unit yet again.
Yeah, not in a rush to do anything apart from tech on up. Get that Twilight Council early and play from there. He's going to go Robo this time before any additional gates, which is a little bit more significant of perhaps like a Dark Shrine. Get that Prism out so you can get across the map before the warp-ins on time. So maybe that's going to be Haas's way of mixing it up going into round 2.
See if that Reaper can bounce itself forwards. Clem doesn't go for it, just jumps up, jumps down. Let's see the Twilight Council. Oh,
okay.
It's the this is the ladder special. You know, this is like the Masters 3 special. I feel.
Yeah.
It's like the 8-gate two-base charge comes in as a big surprise. It definitely can be brutal if it catches you off guard. Let's see how much Haas commits to this. He is cutting probes right now to get his gateways down. That looks like a full wall off to me. I think we're going to see that Prism come across. If Clem can see this coming, it's going to be massive.
Yep, scouting would be amazing, but you just can't get the information right now. Reaper blocked by that wall off. It is 4 additional gates currently. That means 5 in total. Definitely on the very aggressive side of things. Prism on the way. Haas does not mind gassing over a minute at this stage as well. And he is going to power up to just rampage Zealots through this base of Clem in the very near future. Clem's getting a Raven. That would be great against a Dark Shrine. It's not going to be that. The Raven will have to drop an auto turret here, most likely to help out. And, you know, stuff like the Siege Tank is obviously good overall, but against Zealots, it doesn't do the most DPS either, right? So
no, not at all.
That is going to be something that helps Haas out. We'll see what he can do, as Clem does not get any heads up on this.
Oh, you really want to get, like, bunkers on the high ground. And you sometimes even need to evacuate your main to your natural in this scenario, and because you need wall-offs. Those Zealots getting on top of unupgraded Marines is really painful. Hellion scouts it, he sees the Prism coming. Clem may not have noticed, though, that Hellion did not reroute. Yes, it does. Marines come over here. The Zealot drop's going to get inside the base. 5 Zealots warping in to do unload. Marines in the open. Clem's trying to scramble back to position. He realizes just how committed this is. SCVs have been pulled, but there's very little firepower. Clem has so little damage output.
Yes, he does. He can auto turret with the Raven, remember, and I think that would be a choice. He actually held it here, which I like, because in the end, he didn't need it. He was kind of walled with SCV, so he says, no, that's enough for me for the moment. Keep this Raven energy for a later point. He's getting the Viking, which is going to shut down the Prism, which means no more warp-ins in this main base. We might have seen the last, so this is kind of it. First tank shot there is beautiful. Hits another clump of Zealots, taking the shields off. And that is where the tank can put in some serious work.
Massive damage from the Siege Tech already. The Viking is going to shut this down. Haas has to feel his heart sink right now. Last Zealots warping in, and it's go time. Zealots charge onto the barracks, unfortunately wasting that. And the SCV's on hold position. Block it in the mineral line. They turn to fight. The tank's surviving. One tank does go down, but landed Viking, pack of Marines. SCV's off the line. Drills in hand. And Clem says, not today, foul Protoss. I am cheese-proof today.
He was not messing around. He just, even though he didn't know straight away it was a great